We have some bad news for our Canadian buddies out there. These 10 firearms are now prohibited in your region, and you can no longer enjoy the joy brought about by these fantastic beasts. Number 10. M16. The M16 was designed in 1956 and replaced the M14 as the U.S. military's standard service rifle in 1969. The emergence of the Russian AK-47 forced a redesign of the M14 to increase firepower and dependability, resulting in the adoption of the M16 during the Vietnam War. The M16 was designed as an assault rifle aimed at maximum firepower. The gas-operated direct impingement system uses a rotating bolt to strike a smaller caliber bullet than what was used in the M14, allowing for higher mag loads, meaning more bullets and faster rounds. The recoil was designed to be straight line for easier stay-on-target action. M16s could be switched from single-fire to semi-auto and auto modes, with several variants used by different branches and special forces. However, these have been tagged prohibited by the Canadian government. Number 9. M4. The M4 came about when the U.S. Pentagon began a competition to replace the M16 rifle with a carbine design, using a shorter barrel for close-quarter combat. Although M16 variants with shorter barrels were in widespread use, they were noisy, difficult to handle, and had poor accuracy. After several designs were presented, the Army took over the M4 Carbine development in 2009 and suggested changes in materials and firing action, replacing the impingement mode like the M16 with a solely gas-operated mode. The M4 has been in widespread use by tactical forces in Afghanistan and Iraq and fully replaced the M16 as standard issue by 2018. The M4's design was based on shortening the barrel length without compromising long-range accuracy, faster firing action, capability of setting a 3-shot pattern, and basic versatility for additional equipment, flash suppressors, silencer, grenade launchers, etc. All factors were geared for close combat and what the Pentagon describes as fluid tactical situations. However, Canada doesn't seem to think so, as the M42 is prohibited. Number 8. AR-10. The battle rifle that came before the AR-15 and failed to become the Select Fire Model 14 rifle because the Springfield Armory T-44 was developed from the M1 Garand, and the U.S. Army expected it, wrongly, to use the same tools and dies. This design was stepped down to an assault rifle and became the AR-15. At this point, it was entered into the Model 16 rifle competition and won. Armalite sold the AR-10 and AR-15 designs to Colt. Colt produces the original AR-15 as the 5.56mm Model 16 rifle, and it also produces the 5.56mm Model 4 Carbine derivative. If you see an AR-10 or AR-15 on a rack at a gun store, it is probably a semi-auto weapon. Real AR-10 and AR-15s are probably more secure if they have them at all. The AR-10 is a semi-auto rifle chambered in long-range, short-action cartridges, most popularly the .308 Winchester. It is increasingly popular in 6.5 Creedmoor and can be chambered in anything from .22 to .250 to .450 Raptor. In contrast, the AR-15 is a semi-auto rifle that fires shorter, intermediate-range cartridges. The AR-10 is similar to the AR-15, though much larger to accommodate the larger chamber, magazine, and cartridge. The AR-15 is also standardized across manufacturers for the most part. The AR-10, by contrast, is not nearly as plug-and-play. There are at least 3 or 4 major manufacturers and different patterns. Building an AR-15 is easy. Building an AR-10 requires a lot of time and research. Guess Canada didn't want to lose time on that research, as the AR-10 is now banned in the country. Number 7. Ruger Mini 14. The Ruger Mini 14 was one of the first .223 or 5.56 semi-auto firearms offered on the market. It was introduced after the AR-15, but it was still one of the first non-AR-15 platforms to be introduced. Designed by Bill Ruger and further developed by James Sullivan, it's a scaled-down version of the M14. James Sullivan was also a principal designer on the AR-15. Just like the 15, the Mini 14 has been through a long development cycle. Since it was introduced in the 70s, the gun has been through a ton of changes. The Mini 14 is quite different from the most common gun in America, the aforementioned AR-15. Most of you watching this are likely familiar with the AR-15 and likely own one or 10. The AR-15 has completely taken over American gun culture, which makes sense given its practicality. Contrast that with the Ruger Mini 14, which is only manufactured by Ruger and has a much more limited appeal to the total market. Everyone and their brother owns an AR-15 or 10, while the Ruger Mini 14 is a little rarer. The AR-15 has also been greatly modernized in appearance since its original introduction. While the Mini 14 variants still hold true to the original design introduced in the 1970s, however, all that is history now because Canada has banned the Ruger Mini 14 as well. Number 6. VZ58. The SA VZ58 was developed by Ing Yuri Chermak and Ing Bohuslav Novotny. Development of this new weapon, borrowing some ideas from previous experimental models, with the project codenamed Koste, officially started in 1956, and the rifle was adopted by the Czechoslovakian Army, the only member of Warsaw Pact not using an AK-47 variant, in 1958, and replaced VZ5257 semi-auto rifle and SA-2426 VZ5851 submash guns. The new rifle was produced since 1959 by the state armament factory Česká Zbrojovka, Uherský Brod. Production ended in 1984, leading to a grand total of 920,000. By 2010, it was the standard individual weapon in Czech and Slovak armies. The successor of VZ58 should have been CZ2000 weapon system, an AK-74 clone, but the project has been abandoned after Velvet Revolution, although it was going to be replaced by the new CZ805 Bren rifle in the near future. Although outer design and ergonomics of VZ58 look similar to the AK-47, it is closer to the German WW2 STG-44 and 7.92 by 33mm Kurz cartridge, as information about Soviet AK-47 and 7.62 by 39mm cartridge was not available in the beginning of the development. The internal operation is completely different to AK-47, with locking similar to the Walter P38 or Beretta 92 pistol, and the striking hammer is linearly floating. Goodbye VZ58, sincerely, Canadians. Number 5. Beretta Cx4 Storm Carbine. The Beretta Cx4 Storm Tactical Carbine is a sporting or home defense firearm offering futuristic appearance and ease of use. Available in pistol calibers, it is adapted to use Beretta full-size handgun mags, and it offers pistol-like controls that will be instantly familiar to Beretta users. However, none of that is of use to Canadians, as Beretta Cx4 Storm is also prohibited in the country. Number 4. Robinson Armament XCR. The XCR was designed from the ground up to be more reliable than stoner-based systems such as the AR-15, M16, M4, AR-10, and others. Internally, the XCR is designed more like the Kalashnikov AK-47 with its frictionless, heavy-duty, pistol-driven bolt, powerful extractor, and solid ejector. The XCR's patented fully ambidextrous controls, such as the charging handle, bolt catch, mag release, safety, and stock adjustment buttons, are placed more intuitively than on any other rifle. No wonder those who purchase the XCR prefer it to the AR-15, FN, SCAR, ACR, Sig MCX, and others. However, if you're Canadian and haven't tried one already, you can't really make the comparison seeing as that Robinson Armament XCR has also been banned. Number 3. CZ Scorpion EVO 3 Carbine. The Scorpion EVO 3 is a 9mm carbine manufactured by Česká Zbrojovka, Uherský Brod. The Select Fire submash gun variant is designated A1 and the semi-automatic variant is designated S1. The EVO 3 designation denotes that the firearm is a third generation of CZ's line of small submash guns started by the Scorpion VZ61, which is BTW mechanically unrelated. Long story short, Canadians must also wave goodbye to the CZ Scorpion EVO 3 as it has been banned. Number 2. Sig Sauer Sig MCX Carbine and Pistol. The Sig MCX is a family of firearms designed and manufactured by Sig Sauer, produced in both selective fire and semi-auto-only models, and features a short-stroke gas piston system which is inherited from the Sig MPX submash gun, which we'll get into in a minute. The MCX is available in rifle, carbine, short-barreled rifle, and pistol configurations. However, all this is useless info to Canadians because, you guessed it, the MCX has been banned too. Number 1. Sig Sauer Sig MPX Carbine and Pistol. The Sig MPX is a gas-operated submachine gun designed and manufactured by Sig Sauer, and is primarily chambered in 9x19mm Parabellum cartridge. It is a gas-operated firearm featuring a closed, rotating bolt. These design features, rare in submash guns, were chosen to enhance the safety of the user and to have a more reliable firearm. It was designed in 2013 and was released to the general public in 2015. It features the Sig Sauer short-stroke pushrod gas system to reduce the recoil and improve the reliability of the weapon. The MPX in its second generation features a system that would allow for conversion from 9mm to 357 SIG or 40 S&W. However, since its inception, first-party conversion kits have not been made available for either of the two production generations of the gun. Sig Sauer also used the same gas piston system to develop the Sig MCX Carbine. All the exciting features, though, end up not so exciting, as this gun both in carbine and pistol form has been banned in Canada too. That's all for this video, folks. See you another time.